Okay, guys, the coolest part here is the wrap up. So this is the final piece, of course, and that's the bulk process tool. Okay, that's this one here. Okay, and when you go there, it's a little bit different this way. You actually are going to paste the data from Excel sheet to upload into this box and then hit process data. Okay, if you get the data wrong or you don't grab all the columns, hit clear data and then try again, right? The sample is right here. You can download it to fill it out. Right now it has more columns on it than you need. We're hard coding all the columns to the inside so that you only need 3 columns to pull it off. Okay, so the idea will be you'll just make sure everything else is blank, but you still have to paste in the whole header row. Okay, so I'll just show you real quick because it's not hard to understand. Here we go. This would be the file. Let's say I downloaded the sample and I opened it and I started doing everything I should do. It'll have some dummy data here and there. It's talking about like the server name, the name server, the server username and password. For you, unless you are doing something separate where you have your own server and your own server information, uh, then okay, and if you do, just put that information in here. No HTTP, no HTTPS, it's just domain.com, ns1.domain.com, ns2.domain.com, server username, very often root, and then whatever your password is, right? Okay, and then if it's always on that server, just drag that down. If you're mixing and matching, then mix and match. You know, do whatever it is you want to do. You can go back and forth, or cycle between 3 or 4, or put all of the first server in for the first half, and then the next server for the next half, whatever you want to do. Except that for most of you, these websites will be on our server, and so you leave it blank because our system understands that blank means use our stuff. Okay. So what did you need to put in? Well, you need to put in your list of domain names, right? So again, no HTTP, no HTTPS, never on these domain samples unless you saw it used in the sample. Okay. So I've got my 100 domains right here. Notice that they're alphabetical. So according to my key, this should be number 1, that's number 2, that's number 3, and so on, all the way down to 100. Okay. With that in mind, are these pre-owned domains? Yeah, of course. And you shouldn't have to put anything in there. If you did put something in there, it'd be a capital Y. And then you just drag and drop it all the way down, right? But you shouldn't even have to put that because, like I said, we're making sure to hard code all these things that are obvious. Theme ID, okay? It's 1 for banner, 2 for block. So either you're going to put in a 1 or you're going to put in a 2, just depending on whether you're running the banner or running the blocks. So far, we've been running with banner for all of our examples. So you would normally use a 1, okay, if you're going that route. But if you do get the banner blocks version of T2HC, the one that has a banner, but it also has the smaller buttons to click next to it, right? You remember that we've been talking about that, right? Blocks. Just to show you real quick. That's this version of the template, right? Okay. Then that's 2. Okay, not number 1, but number 2. Theme choice 2. Okay. Yeah, everything else is 1. All right, so what do you need to put in there? You need to put the var sheet ID in for the correct var sheet for each one of these websites. Remember, that's what we did right here where we sorted those numbers. Okay, at the end of the last video, we created this list. And what did we say? Whoops. We said, here's our key, right? Because it's alphabetical, and that's what we're doing. Number 1 is 24-hour garage door repair. Number 2 is the next one down, etc. So that var sheet 89 is using the information for that website. And then 91 is using the information for the next website. So it is in order as long as it's this way. Okay, I can copy it. Control C. Okay, and I can paste it in. Paste. And there you have it. This is using the right theme now. that is using the right theme now, and so on. That was what we did, of course, at the end of the last video. If you didn't quite get it then, I think you'll get it now. So just go back and review it. I was talking about reordering it to make the keyword. We had to get the numbers top down in the right order, and they are now in that right order. This is the way they need to be. Oh, I put that under theme ID, didn't I? I don't mean to put it under theme ID, of course. How many of you guys caught it? Probably all of you. That is the var sheet ID that we've been talking about all this time, right? Theme ID is simply 1 or 2. Okay, 1 for banner, 2 for blocks. Var sheet ID, of course, that's the var sheet that we did, the variable sheet with all the variables on it. Okay, the only other thing you have to put in, you put in the domain name, you put in the var sheet, you get to decide how many rows are in the subdomains. You can decide, you can make it something like 100. If you're kicking off a website and you want to kind of keep it small, think about it. 100 subdomains times 16 pages is 1,600 pages on the website, plus the original 16. So it's really 16 pages on the website, right? If you wanted to make it over 3,200 pages, just turn it to 200, okay? So you can do that. So you can really just choose how you want to kick off your websites. Sometimes it's not good to make it really, really big, right? You could probably try 25,000 and you may get it, but you might just bog the system down. And even then, Google does not like to see massive websites appear out of nowhere. Usually you start them off smaller, sensible, and then you add pages as you go. But keep in mind, there's only so far you can really take it unless you get serious inside that var sheet. Because if you have a certain number of cities times a certain number of keywords, that's pretty much where you want to max out on the website. Each website should have just 1 page for every geo-targeted keyword. Okay, that's it. You're not trying to get 2 pages to show up for Chicago Emergency Locksmith. You're trying to get 1 page for Chicago Emergency Locksmith, another page for Chicago Locksmith, another page for Chicago Residential Locksmith, another page for Denver Emergency Locksmith, right? Geography times keywords is like as big as your website should basically be, times all the related pages that have to do with the topic. So 1 page, and then there's the next page that talks about whatever it is about us in that context. Another page that talks about services in that context, and so on. So you can go 2,500. You could do 2,500, then 500, then 125, or whatever you would like to do. Now, what we did, just so you know, is this, right? We said 2,500 to kick off each website times all the websites. Our goal is to get them all to try to overlap. We want Google to see our 100 websites, which means 100 pages we are offering Google across that whole stack for Chicago garage door repair, Chicago emergency garage doors repair, whatever. Denver garage door repair, Denver emergency garage door repair, Denver residential garage door maintenance. Each keyword, we're trying to give Google 100 versions of it. That's our smorgasbord. And let Google decide to pick and choose which website goes where algorithmically, so that we, if Google already has a red website on the page, they don't want our red website for that same keyword. But we have a blue one. They might like that one. That one might feel very different. And Google might be interested in that, because Google's all about diversity, right? The more diverse, the better. The more variations, the better. The more angles you can test with, the better. Okay, so having said that, how would you handle this? This is done, right? We put in our domains. We got the right var sheet match, and we put in the number of rows we want. Now what do? We have to get the information on this entire page into that box by pasting. So that's not hard. Okay, here's how we do it. We go from here all the way to here. Right now, you need to use all the columns, so just be aware of that. Now we're going to scroll down to, what is that? That is, 101. So I will go like that. Okay, Control C. Come back, paste, boom, right? Now, we did not do it fully yet, so I don't even think this will fully take, right? It probably won't. I'm probably going to have to go and put the main information in for it to be able to handle this, right? Um, and I don't need to run it because I already have the websites up, right? But that's literally the rest of the process. Okay, it just goes through and figures out what's going on. Yeah, I don't think it's doing anything with that. And then after that, um, it just starts the processing, and it literally starts creating those 4,000 pages. Oh, maybe it is doing it. Those 4,000 pages for every one of the websites. Word to the wise, real quick too. What if you already had a sitemap on and now you're running it again? Well, you're just going to overwrite your sitemap. Any new links you're putting out are going to become new links. Links that were already there, you're overwriting with the new information. That's great because chances are you're going to wind up updating, making better changes and slight improvements to those pages. So running those pages again with the variations, that's great. If you created more global variables in your var sheet and you ran it again, your page can have a richer set of variables, so there can be yet more diversity. So you can recreate the pages with the same keywords saying basically the same thing anyway, except that they're richer, more varied. So they're even cooler, and Google's going to like them more. And Google's going to love the fact that you updated those pages. So every once in a while, it's good to run the var sheets again, so to speak, and make sure to add at least as many pages as before. Okay. If you ran fewer pages, then you're just updating fewer pages. It will still keep the remainder of the pages that come afterward. But there you go. I mean, why make the sitemap smaller? The goal is generally to add more pages over time. So you might do 100 to start, and then watch Google for indexing your pages, right? Do the site colon search on your website. When Google's been indexing some of your pages, then add more. Do another 100. Then maybe, so you go from like 100 to 200 to 500 to 1,000. Now, the older your website gets, the better Google is about letting you really ramp up your page counts. Okay. So during the first couple of months or so, you probably want to keep it down, 100, 200, 500, and you're just watching for Google to index, maybe get it up to 1,000, maybe 2,500. But then after that, you can jump up quite a bit more. You can go from 2,500 to 5,000 all at once, okay? Because your website's got some age on it, and that means you probably got more people working now. You're doing bigger things, you're talking about more, and that's fine. Google makes sense of that. Only thing is, don't just keep creating pages for the same stuff. If you had 5 locations times 5 keywords, and that was it, your website should only have 25 total base pages plus the inner pages or related pages to each of those sets. So like 25 times 16 pages, right? If we had 16 baseline pages, then we do 25 versions, then that can be 25 times 16 is the total number of pages that you want. Don't keep just adding more pages. It's going to keep duplicating. It's going to make more versions of those same pages. And then Google's going to be like, hey, man, it's different pages on your website are trying to compete for exactly the same thing. That doesn't make sense. So go look up more keywords or see if there are more locations you can get into play if you're going to do something that big, right? Okay, I hope that makes sense. And now you get the idea. And by the way, this can move pretty quick too, right? This inside of SQL is fast and very cool. So yeah, I hope you found this interesting because now you have it. You know everything you can do with the var sheet installer. You can put up runs, you can overwrite runs, you can put up var sheets, you can put up new var sheets, overwrite old sitemaps, you can change image sets, you can create more variability in your feed files and run them up, you can change color combinations, font combinations, anything you want. And you can decide how you want to handle that however you want. You just really have the control. So for those of you that already understood how to run T to H and how to run var sheets, then you know everything you need to know. From here, it's strategy on out. What we're going to teach, of course, is how to create tons of content quickly and tons of images quickly. Okay, and so those are different. Those are not inside the VAR sheet installer. Those are other steps. We'll get to them in separate videos that explain all these things you can do. Okay. All right. Hope you found that interesting. And when this is done, that's the idea, is that all your websites have those sitemaps now. You can go look through your sitemaps and see how big they are. What should you do after that? Ping. Go to ping, right? And when you get there, upload your file with all those websites and hit submit so that it lets Google, Yahoo, and Bing know what you just did. Okay? There you go. That's how you control as many websites as you want just from the ground up. And then you can always get rid of stuff that you know you don't need anymore. All right. Thanks for coming along this journey and keeping up, and congratulations for getting through all of this. And yeah, move on to other sections of the system that you haven't covered yet so that you can keep getting it all down, getting it all figured out. There's a great deal that we have to offer you, and there's a great deal you can do by understanding this kind of power and getting comfortable with it. The more tools you pick up, the better. And of course, where you want to start, if you haven't done it yet, is go to website-installer.com. Go to the categories section called Theme2HC. Okay. These are the base 2 banners. These are just the basic banners, very much do it yourself. Choose your own colors, your own fonts, get your own images and apply. All right, but everything works. All the tools work. It's just from there, you decide where you want to go. That's each version here. The next step up, okay, like you can look at the titles to get that clue, right? The next step up is a little more expensive, like another, I think it's another $125 more expensive, or whatever it is. It's because it's got 100 theme styles included, okay? That means all the different color combinations with font combinations. It took a long time to hammer so many out, but they are now included. Okay, so that's a nice step up because it just gives you 100 themes to work from, reds and blues and yellows and greens and golds and purples and everything. And then finally, this goes even further. This allows you to put multiple installations onto whatever cPanels you have. Okay, so not just one. You can do more. You can do projects for anything you want, one after the next by sticking add-on domains on the same cPanels. Then from there, it's just get more cPanels and then install more of them. Okay, hope you found that interesting. And yeah, can't wait to see you get going. This is really cool. By the way, these other ones here, these are older versions of the templates. Don't get them now unless you're willing to get them anyway, because you wanted to, right? These are just not the latest, greatest versions of the templates. These are older versions. They're also cheaper, but because they are. Many are landing pages too, and you might like some of the stuff just for different things you want to do. It's good to look around and see what you see. By the way, if you have a particular request for, hey, can we set up a template for a particular industry for you, that kind of thing, we're opening opportunities for that kind of play. All right, talk to you later, and thanks a lot for watching again. Keep exploring, and yeah, get on board as soon as you can. If you got any questions, don't hesitate. You can give me a call. That's Dave at, right? 616-834-6552. You can always call and ask. A lot of people call, they say, I think I need this, but maybe I need that. Is it correct? And they'll just let me know. So you can give me a call and ask away, right? If you miss me, leave a voicemail, return number. I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able. You can also shoot me a text to that number. So if you have a real simple question or a basic question, you can just go ahead and text it to me. I'll text you an answer back as soon as I get a chance. All right, take care and talk to you soon.